We are live. Okay.
Every time
Yeah.
I'm here, I always get so happy to hear the crowd be as happy and excited as I am.
I know.
Isn't that so funny?
Crowd is amazing. Our listeners, our supporters, man, our supporters are the best people in the world.
I just want you to know that, like, every time you guys are here, we're here too. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Welcome back to Our Real Addiction, episode 111. Uh-huh.
That's crazy talk. 1111.
It
Isn't that angel
is.
numbers for you people that believe in that?
I don't believe in that.
I don't believe in it either. But 111, what does that mean? Who knows?
That
But it's a good way to end the season. And also, too, if you guys haven't seen us yet, we have a new logo, which is amazing. And I love it. And it's all thanks to Adam.
It's amazing.
And
It's an amazing logo.
it's amazing. And I love it. And check it out, please. Also, this is the dawn of season 3.
Dawn of season 3. So the episode next week is kind of TBD'd. We'll see. Maybe we take the week off. We'll see. We'll probably get you guys something. Give you something.
A preview of
Maybe.
coming events.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We might take a week off. No, who knows? We can use it. We can use the week off. But yeah, I mean, episode 111, it's the end of season 2 officially. This is the season 2 finale. We got a lot to talk about. We have the box office. We also have the box office. And lastly, we have, of course, the Mandalorian. No.
And that's everything. Yeah. So it's going to be a very short episode. So
No, all jokes aside, we do have a box office. The official title for the next MonsterVerse movie is officially out. So we're going to talk about that. Also, too, I kind of want to set the record straight. Yes, we are very aware of what's going on with Jonathan Majors. Me personally, I didn't feel the need to include it in any of the podcast today, just because I just feel like it's a bunch of negativity. Don't really want that on the show.
I feel like there is two sides to every story. However, a lot of it is being compared to a certain situation, certain actor within the Warner Brothers / DC universe. And at the end of the day, we're not here to speculate or comment about politics. Like, if you're ready to talk about that, do so on your own. But this is a podcast that doesn't include religion, that doesn't include politics, that doesn't include anything that might offend you or anything. We're strictly movies, and we'll continue to talk about movies because that is what it is.
Yeah.
And so if you want our opinion on that, just Google whatever's going on, because at the end of the day, there's so much going on.
You'll never hear our opinion on what we think about. It's just negativity we don't really want to put out, really like include into the podcast, because it's heavy stuff. It's sensitive topics. Again, we're very aware of what's going on. It's hard not to be aware of it because you hear something new what feels like every 30 minutes. But obviously, again, it's just like we're gonna refuse to comment on it. We're very aware of what's going on. We're not gonna really acknowledge it other than this. But so obviously yes. But to continue on for our topics, so like I said, we got box office, got the Kong versus Godzilla. We're gonna be talking a little bit of Renfield, another best-selling author book series is in TV development, in infancy, I should say, of TV development. And I'm going to be honest, I already forgot. Obviously, Mando. But did I mention anything else in our text messages?
That was it.
Checking right now.
That was it. That was it. Yeah. It's a close-knit episode, but we have a lot to talk about. So stay tuned. Again, we love you guys. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And also, thanks for being part of season 2.
Absolutely.
We absolutely adore you. So thank you.
Appreciate all of you listening who made it, who were here from season 1, for those who hopped on, joined us in season 2, and whoever is going to be joining us for season 3 and season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 seasons and a movie. That's what we like to say around here. But no, no, in all seriousness, again, yeah, I mean, and also too, if you can't tell, the shirt I am wearing today is the new T-shirt, or the new logo on a T-shirt. At the current moment, there are no plans to sell anyone any T-shirts, I should say.
However,
maybe we'll see. I know what you're getting in. I know what you're gonna get into. We'll see.
he never
But
knows. He never knows.
exactly.
I like to throw a curveball.
No, yeah,
But
absolutely,
the thing is, it's exciting and it's
absolutely.
awesome. I was gonna comment at the beginning, but I know he was gonna mention something about it. So check it out. It is our new logo on our shirts,
Yes.
and there's TBD with merch about that. So that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, essentially later down the road, we already have an idea for a Christmas style T-shirt that I've already kind of put together that is coming down later this year that we'll want to
This is
sell.
news to me, but
Okay. Oh, I'm
really
so
news
sorry.
to
I'm
you.
breaking news to you. Okay, I'll tell you after. But this shirt, yeah, it's just for promotional stuff for us to wear to events. It's just for close friends and family. At some point, if you guys want a shirt, let us know. If we get enough people, we will be able to sell some. But I also want to give a shout out to a couple people. First person being is my coworker Ruben, who is the person who are designing these shirts for us. Check him out on Instagram. It's at Clockwise720, I believe, and his t-shirt brand is Echoes of Oratory on Instagram. So please check him out. Super super awesome.
Thank you, Ruben.
No, absolutely. Because he brought these to me at work one day, and we met up to do it, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to see because it's just like it's something we've had in the work. There are literally, I think other than this, there are two other shirts, and it's the shirt I own and the shirt you own, the Mark ones that are one and done. So it's super awesome to have these. Also, too, want to give a shout out to Sean Walchef, who we had a pleasure of having a conversation with via Zoom, just to,
Yes.
who we've,
Thank you so much for
yeah,
being a part of this build up as well. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it was really nice to, yeah.
Good, I guess you can say motivation and how that came about. Hopefully, hey, maybe we'll collaborate down the line. But for us to just simply have be able to have a conversation and to make essentially a relationship with him, it was super awesome to see, or super awesome to be a part of. But big credits to Miguel for for getting us in that position to begin with.
Thank you.
But yeah, fun episode, fun episode. Lots to talk about. We have so much like I said, to talk about. We can just jump right into the box office numbers if you'd like.
Let's do it.
Coming in at number 5 at $7.8 million is Air, the Michael Jordan film, bringing its grand total up to $56 million, $35 million of that being domestically, and 21 million of that being internationally. Still haven't seen it. I need to make my way out to the box office. I did see Renfield. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about that and what our thoughts were on that. But coming in tied at number 3, tied for third place, would be Renfield at 8 million and also John Wick 4 at 8 million.
Wow.
8 million,
Okay.
excuse me.
Is this Renfield's first week?
Yes. So not
Perfect.
doing too hot. But Renfield has made an additional 3 million since it's currently sitting at 11.8 million. Obviously, John Wick being the film that it is currently at 351 million, 161 of that domestically, and 180 of it being international. Coming in at number 4 is The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, how we both feel about those movies. And I am
don't mess
so
with them. I
terrified
don't mess with them.
because Evil Dead releases today.
Yeah.
And I am so scared to go watch this movie because
that's a hard pass.
we're gonna review it.
We will see. We will see.
Yeah.
Good. You can.
We're
Yeah,
gonna review
tell
it.
you
We're
what.
gonna review
Tell
it.
you what.
We
You
will
can
review
review
it.
it. You can
We're
review
gonna
it.
review it.
You can
But
review it. By all
no,
means. You have the
we're gonna
YouTube
review
login.
it because if I sat down, okay, so okay,
Go ahead.
story
Go
time.
ahead. Go ahead. Go
Not
ahead.
going off tangent.
Go ahead.
Not going off tangent.
Go ahead.
Just recently, my roommate showed me the Evil Dead remake, right? The 2013 version,
Which
right?
is horrible in my opinion.
Um, I was so scared. I was squirming.
Hmm.
And usually, when it comes to horror movies, I'm just kind of like very. I just like observe and I like listen and I watch and I listen. I mean I see the movie play out, right?
Hmm.
With this one, I had no idea where it was going.
Yeah.
Granted, even though I saw the original, I know where it was going, but it was so scared.
Compared to what it is now, or what it was then to what it is now.
And it's been 10 years since the remake, and now we have Evil Dead Rises.
Yeah. I mean, we
And
talked
now,
about it with like Resident Evil 4, how I don't remember the game being that scary growing up. But now that I'm playing it on PS5, like I'm terrified playing it.
you know what's scarier?
What?
The Last of Us Part 2.
Why? And like, is it actually scary or is it a bad game in your opinion?
No, it's scary
Oh, okay.
because it's scary because one, I think I made the mistake, the grave mistake of putting the setting on hard. So there's only like one or two bullets that I'm getting per whatever scouting.
Hmm.
And now in this video game, there's dogs that scent you. And it's just it's terrifying. And not only the dogs are terrifying, everything else. There is a new breed of oh my god of cordyceps. It's just it's frightening.
I haven't finished the first one. Obviously, everybody knows that who's been listening to this. But it's funny because I have a coworker. Shout out Keegan. I work with him at Geek Squad. He's one of our technicians. He
Hi,
told
Keegan.
me. I don't know if he listens to it. I doubt it because I've never shared the podcast with anybody at Geek Squad. I probably
Stop
should.
gatekeeping.
I am. I'm gatekeeping. They don't want to listen to this podcast. Anyways,
Gatekeeping.
uh, anyways, he told me that if you're not playing a game on a difficulty, on a higher difficulty, then what's the point of playing it? Because you have to go through what the actual character is going through. And
See, okay, I
that
will
kind of makes
disagree
sense.
because
Me too.
there are video games. There are video games that are supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah.
And then there are video games that are like, okay, actually, what's his name again? Keegan?
Keegan, yeah, Keegan.
Keegan, I actually agree with you. That's kind of crazy.
So okay,
I actually genuinely agree with you
to a certain
because
extent.
hypothetically, if you were in that situation, would you do these certain actions and, your will to survive? Now, granted, I've died so many times as Ellie, um, to the point where I feel like I'm not built for this apocalyptic world. No, I wouldn't be. I would get myself ripped apart,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that is my truth.
That is See, but then I have another coworker who says no. Some games are meant to be played for fun, and I 100% agree with that. I want to have fun in a game more than I want to be stressed.
That is true because shout out to my coworker Brian, or my roommate Brian,
Roommate, coworker.
roommate coworker.
Shout out,
Our
Brian.
relationship's different depending on the day.
Uh,
However, um, he plays a video game named Dota,
okay.
and he has come to me and has told me I have no fun. Every time I'm in this game, I am nowhere near having fun. And he plays with other people online, and every other person that he plays online with says the same thing. So I'm like, so what's the point of playing this game? I'm like, is it even satisfactory for you to, like finish a game or like finish a thing and you'd be like, okay, you survived or whatever. And he's like, honestly, no. So you know what he did? He uninstalled it.
You do that. So you do that as a gamer. I've uninstalled Call of Duty many times. I have punched a hole through a wall over zombies.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Video games are no joke when you are stressed out. over this video. Now, don't get me wrong. So, like, okay, I feel like everybody has a stress video game that, like, even though the game is stressful, we're still gonna play it. So, at the peak of zombies of Black Ops 3, I was the Easter egg runner for my team that I would play zombies with. So it was always up to me. Mind you, I didn't punch the hole when Black Ops 3 was out. I punched the hole in like 2011 when I was in like 8th grade and pissed off, or like it was maybe a freshman. I remember punching a hole through my wall because of how I'm at. Yes, I was a kid with anger issues, okay? We all go through it, okay? So judge me. Go ahead and judge me. If you're listening to this, go ahead or watching this on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@ourrealaddiction. Go ahead, judge me. Judge me all you want for punching a hole in the wall. I was only 14 or 15, so go ahead, judge me. But point is, zombies can easily get stressful when it comes to that video game. But point is, circling back to the box office, because we completely went off tangent there.
You're number 2, right?
Yeah, so number 2 is at The Pope's Exorcist, making 9.9 million. It is currently at 37 million, 10 million of that being in domestic, and 27 of it being international. And number 1, obviously, with no surprise, is going to be the Super Mario Bros. Making $92.3 million, putting the grand total at $716 million.
So this is their second week.
Yeah, 366 million of that being domestic, and 350 million of it being international. It's kind of split evenly.
I have not stopped hearing about this movie.
Oh yeah, Peaches.
Everybody
Peaches,
and their mom
Peaches,
went to go see this movie.
Peaches.
They were like, "Did you go see Mario? Did you go see Mario? Did you go see Mario?" I'm like, dude, please stop talking to me about it, because I haven't stopped. I unfortunately haven't seen it. And the people ask me because they know that I have a podcast about movies and they want to know my opinion about it. And I haven't, and it sucks.
Go see it.
It sucks to be in this position, because last night I went to go see Renfield and it was a great time. But then at the same time I was like, damn, I kind of wish I saw Super Mario, because I wanted to get that out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Look, it is fantastic. The film. First off, Mario is a fantastic film, even though it's not for kids, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I mean, a lot of people. I had a couple coworkers who completely disagreed and said it wasn't for kids. But overall, I enjoyed it. Obviously, Jack Black has arguably gonna win an Oscar for this original song. In all honesty, I don't know if you've seen it yet, Miguel, but he's essentially singing to Peaches. He's on a piano, and it is literally one of the most memorable songs that you can.
It's funny because it hit like the 100 in the
top 100.
Top music.
I believe
it. Yeah, the top 100. It hit the top 100 in like music, which is insane because it's super funny. The fact that Jack, I don't know, man. I love Jack Black. I love Jack Black.
I 100% believe it. 100%. But that's it for the box office. We got a couple smaller topics. The smallest topic is the title of the new Godzilla film. So it's now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear I thought I saw a King Kong versus Godzilla movie before.
This isn't Godzilla versus King Kong, though.
So this is a duo?
They're teaming up.
So this is Godzilla x King Kong?
Yeah, so it's Godzilla x Kong. And the X is for collaboration. So Godzilla and King Kong are collaborating to take out this new foe who looks like it is from the same species of King Kong. Because he does look like the villain looks like it is some sort of ape. The trailer is super cool. We see essentially the skulls of Kong of a Godzilla and a Kong. Skull is in like a blue smoke and Kong's is in a gold. And then it reveals the release date, which is I believe March 15th. 2024. I know I posted it on IG. I don't remember the exact date.
It is, yeah, March 24th.
So March
2024.
2024. So next year it's coming out, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm super excited because I loved Godzilla versus Kong. I've loved all the MonsterVerse films. I thought they've all been completely cool, something different to go see, in my opinion. But there's not much. And so it's Godzilla x Kong, the new Empire. So there's a new villain. We're gonna see who it is. As of right now, the rumors of it that the monsters involved are Space Godzilla and possibly Mecha Ghidorah, as well as this new ape villain.
I thought it was going to be Rey Skywalker.
Okay, hater. Okay, someone's sipping on the haterade today. It's funny because the other topic, you were like, no, why are they doing this before the episode?
No, yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Don't get ahead of yourself. We'll talk about it.
Oh, don't get ahead of myself? What?
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
What?
We'll talk about it. Don't worry. We'll talk about it.
Oh, don't worry. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
no worries.
Adam does this to me all the time. He's like, we'll talk about it.
No, I do not.
I was like, and I have to like reverse it. And, here we are.
You know what? I'm going to be fair. I think I do that a lot, huh?
You do that a lot, but it's okay.
We'll talk about it on the podcast.
You regardless.
Say your thoughts. No, it's just secret.
Anyway,
that's code for like.
I thought about King Kong versus Godzilla or King Kong collaboration with Godzilla. I like to see it. We know that Godzilla and King Kong are coming back. Are any of the original stars from Godzilla or from King Kong coming back to that? Like, are we seeing Brie Larson again?
Probably
we seeing maybe Loki? What's his name again? Loki?
Tom Hiddleston.
Real life?
Their characters would have to have been dead because that took place in the 50s.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
So they're dead or really old, and there is no way that they
are. We seeing Millie Bobby Brown again?
Let's hope not.
Whoa.
Let's hope not. She's problematic. We know this.
Anyway, that was silent.
No. Okay. So think of the X as and. So it's Godzilla and Kong. Think of it that way. The new Empire.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, they clearly filled algebra, but it's fine.
But I'm pretty excited. There's not much information.
It's just a teaser.
Yeah.
It's all it is. And check our Instagram because we did post it. Thanks to Adam. We did post it. I didn't know that was happening. I thought those plans were kind of scrapped, not gonna lie. Really? But also too, I feel like there was a lot of revenue in that. So I will see it because it's fun. It's a monster movie.
They have all done really well. I know that. And majority of these films are CGI, so they're going to take a lot more time to render Godzilla, render Kong. You are essentially creating these fully animated characters. So that's kind of tough. It's similar to like Avatar: The Way of Water, where the entire film is built in a single room. Speaking of, I don't mean to go sidetracked, because I completely forgot about it. Avatar: The Way of Water is throwing a free expo in LA.
No way,
you
really?
can go see like the art of The Way of Water. Yeah, and I'm going to it on Saturday.
The storyboard?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I'll post the link. They're giving out free tickets. I'll post the link, or I'll send it to Miguel. Maybe one of us will. Point is, it will be up on the Instagram. I'll be on it. I'll be there on Saturday after I get out of work because I'm gonna go check it out, and I'll post on the IG. It looks like super fun, super cool. My sister Annalisa, who's been on the podcast, she's gonna be going with me after work. So I'm pretty excited. She likes to just go see art. Obviously, I want to go see it because it's The Way of Water. But it looks like super cool and super fun. They already released like photos of what what the layout's gonna look like. But it looks super fun, super cool. Again, the fact that it's free, I thought James Cameron would have definitely charged us for this so that he can add to the revenue of The Way of Water. Because that's the James Cameron thing to do, and then he'll go and release Way of Water 3 months after it comes out. But yeah, it looks super awesome. I'll post a couple photos right here of what it might look like, or just the main photo, just so you guys can see. But check it out because tickets are free. They do have time slots. It's every hour. as long as they don't sell out in quotation marks, as they're free. But
Oh,
yeah,
I guess it's like a limited amount of people, right? It would
I
be,
would assume. Yeah,
yeah. That's super amazing. Thanks for letting everybody know that. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely.
Sometimes I feel like I am having like full FOMO whenever there's events in LA and I can't make them
Well,
personally.
well, there's only one solution to that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah,
No, but I'm good though. I'm good. You'll have fun. It's gonna-
are you though? Are you though?
I don't miss it. I'm just gonna. I do miss it. I miss it a lot.
Yeah, no, but no, yeah, yeah. It looks super fun, super cool. I'll post it on the IG for you guys to check it out. See if any of you guys are gonna be there. Feel free to let me know what time, and maybe we can meet up. If anybody wants to meet us, question mark. Yeah.
Ooh.
But in getting into the first technically main topic of the episode, this is a good one because you're in completely disagreement. Yeah, let's go, baby. The Twilight TV series officially in the works, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Let's go, baby. Let's go ahead and get a clap for the Twilight series being now in
No,
infancy.
no.
All right, that's enough. But I'm super excited. First off, I love the Twilight films. Do not get me wrong; they are some of the most interesting films put together. But they hit when you watch them. They hit.
They are, yes,
You
exactly.
know.
They are. Those movies are. They are comfort movies. They are what they are. Every director that helmed the camera within each film project brought its their own taste to the Twilight series. The first one has its, like its blue tint, amazing soundtrack. The second one, New Moon, has another amazing soundtrack and also like a lighter tone. And also, I just stop with the reboots. Stop. Just please stop. Please, come up with something else. Look at new projects. Look look at people that want to put their work out there. Invest in them. Like, please. I am so tired of this. I don't want this. I don't. I am so sorry. I love Twilight for what it is. Trust me. I will go to Forks. Matter of fact, I'm going in June. I don't want this. Nobody asked for this. The only person that who thought about this was the people that were like, "Oh, Harry Potter's doing this. We should do it too." And now we're here again. Like it's so tragic. I'm so sorry.
It's funny. I knew you were gonna bring up Harry Potter, and that's why I specifically sourced this topic, because I knew I honestly had a feeling you'd be upset with this.
I don't
Um,
want this. It just doesn't make sense. I'm not the only one. People don't want this. They don't want this. They can read the books all over again. They can watch the movies. Hell, people go watch reruns in theaters
I
together.
got a question for you. I got a
I
question
have an
for you.
answer for
Okay.
you. Shoot.
A question. Had we not gotten the announcement of Harry Potter, would you be more accepting of this considering Twilight is over 10 years old since it's wrapped up?
And my reaction would be the same as Harry Potter.
Do you really think that though? Because we've been
No, 100%, because I don't need to know a story that I already read and also seen. It doesn't make sense, especially 10 years like ago. Granted, the only exception, and I'm not quoting Paramore. The only exception would be the fact that the target audience would be this new generation. However, this new generation is well aware of Twilight and the Hunger Games and Harry Potter.
Are they really though?
100%.
I think it's more
One
of
hundred
us.
percent.
I think it's more of us who are keeping that
And great,
alive.
and yeah, like out with the old, in with the new. That's fine. The money will be made. Whatever I say doesn't matter because they're still doing it.
No, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'd be more accepting of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch it. You know, I mean, I don't really have complaints over it. It's more of like, oh, okay, they're like, we're again in the era of reboot sequels, and I
You
guess.
know what Gail Weathers said in
Well,
Scream
here's the
6?
thing. Here's the
She
thing, though.
said Gail Weathers in Scream 6 said everything's just going to like TV crime documentaries. And
Son,
now like in like retrospect in real life, that's exactly what's happening.
I got another
Everything's
question
going
for
to
you.
TV limited series, and that's what's happening with here.
I have
We're
another
getting
question
10
for you.
years of more Harry Potter with each book being dedicated to like a season, and then now we're getting 5 more years of Twilight, which nobody asked for because they're gonna break up part 4 in 2 parts because they can't.
Hmm. I got one more question for you. Do you think you're being a little hypocritical considering your favorite movie franchise is Scream and how many times they have rebooted and sequeled that?
Well, the thing is about Scream is that it's self-aware.
Yeah, but it still
You know what I'm
doesn't.
saying? Because even within Scream 6, they were like, there's requels, and now we're part of a franchise. The thing about these movies is that they are a franchise from the beginning. However, they're in requel territory. But the thing is, no matter the content, and this is what the importance of Scream 6 said, Mindy Meek said in Scream 6, she said, you will kill off your Luke Skywalker. You will kill off, your Robert Pattinson. You will like whatever, right? Your main just to keep because Hollywood is running out of ideas to keep the franchise going. It doesn't matter who the story is anymore. What they're ruining is the narrative. That is the thing about that. And that Scream in retrospect is hypocritical too because in Scream 6 we didn't have Sidney Prescott. Yet
Yeah.
we still enjoyed the movie because it's no longer about Sidney Prescott. So what is new about these movies? These reboots, right? Nothing. It's a new cast. We're getting the
Yeah, but
same
when you can
story,
say,
but
but
we're getting the same story twice
yes,
being
but
modeled.
when you can
You know what's
flesh out
happening right
a
now? It's
story
it's
better,
it's Resident Evil 4 remake for the PS2, for the PS3, Resident Evil 4 remake for the PS4, Resident Evil remake for the PS5, and then Resident Evil 4 remake complete for the PS5 again. You know what I'm saying? That is what's happening right
don't
now
you
with
eat up
with
Resident Evil
the
every single
Hollywood.
time it comes out?
Oh, 100%.
So
Yeah,
then
I
aren't
am there
you
for that. And there,
so
what I'm saying, my argument, what are you trying to argue right now?
but
Because
aren't
what I'm
you
saying,
because
what I'm
aren't
giving
you
to you
kind
is there will be revenue. There will be people that will go see this, regardless of my opinion. And at the end of the day, this will be made. But what I'm arguing what I'm answering to your question is that Scream 6 is saying that Hollywood is just keeping the franchise alive without bringing original story. Scream 6, what is doing in a sense, meta aware of that is the fact that we have the Carpenter sisters now, and we have the Meeks Martin, right? We have a new bloodline that is continuing the story without Sidney Prescott. What is Twilight going to be doing that's different? Nothing. It's just because it's going to be more involved in the story in the books. Read the book.
yeah, but again,
If you really want that, read the book. Encourage people to download their Kindles. It doesn't make sense to me at all to bring a whole new television series out and about again when it's only been 10 years. I'm sorry. For me, that's my opinion.
okay, but again, my question is, don't you think you are a little hypocritical because of the fact that you
No,
do?
I already answered this.
Yeah,
The
no,
thing
but
is,
yeah,
yes,
again, but
but
you
what
kind
I'm
of yeah,
saying,
but
what I countered towards that is that with Scream 6, we have the Carpenter sisters. We
yeah,
have a
but
new line
again,
of like what's going on, right?
exactly.
However, it
But
doesn't matter
just because
whether
it's
I am being
self-aware,
hypocritical is the fact that Hollywood is running out of ideas. And here we are again with requels.
mm-hmm.
And Scream 5 made a notion of that, saying, hey, by the way, we're just going to keep going back to the original and bringing it back to new audiences. But how many times will this work out?
Again, just because a film makes it self-aware doesn't mean it's not still, doesn't like because you're saying, oh, Scream is an exception because it's self-aware and because it's meta. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. They're still doing essentially them continuing on the legacy is still
But
essentially
you
the same
know
thing.
what they're
What
self-aware about,
Twilight
the fact that it's the same thing over and over again. Watch all the movies. It's a whodunit.
exactly, but that's still
Exactly. But
but
so
yeah, but
what is the
that
new Twilight
doesn't
series going
mean
to do?
that
What
doesn't
is the
mean
new Harry Potter series going to do? It's just going to bring new actors to the role, and that's it. They when they released the teaser, when HBO released the teaser, they still had the same logo and they still had the same design of the castle.
Scream does that too, though. If Scream really still wanted to be original, they could change up the mask. They can change up the suit.
Are you only countering Scream? What else can be
No,
applied
but
here? What about
also
Star Wars?
the
Huh?
Star Wars is
What
completely
about I mean shit, I don't know. Like what other franchise can you put against this?
no
Because
because
it's
yes,
not only Scream. It's
Star
not
Wars
only
is different
Scream.
because Star Wars has other
Oh, how is
materials.
Star Wars different? It
Because
doesn't make sense to me.
no, Star Wars
No,
is
Star Wars
completely
is going to
different.
continue to be the same thing that it is.
No, it's not because you have the Mandalorian, you have all this other material that isn't
How
the
is that
Sky
different?
Wars, that isn't the Skywalker.
How is it different?
What do you mean? How is it different?
How is that different?
Because you have other material.
How is that different without being hypocritical?
It's not being hypocritical because you have other material. It was like it would be hypocritical if Disney was going and remaking the sequel trilogy. Then you're hypocritical because you're not doing anything original.
They did not do that with The Force Awakens?
Bro, even what you call it is everything in the original trilogy is basically
okay,
fleshed
exactly.
out.
So the thing is, point of us, what we're both trying to say is that Hollywood is running out of ideas and they need to get new writers in there, and we're part of that. That is what I'm arguing here, because at the end of the day, I am sick and tired of hearing the same story over and over again. If I want to read the Twilight series, I will just go buy the books. I don't need to sit down and watch them. I don't need to sit down and watch again Harry Potter. I can read my favorite book, which is The Prisoner of Azkaban, or I can, which I just did, I can buy the steelbook from Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy, the original Scream 1996 in 4K. I can rewatch that and have the same story in part 2, in part 3, in part 4, in part 5, in part 6, and yet to be part 7. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, 100%, 100%. I just don't think you can kind of be upset when it's not. They're
no,
not.
I'm not. It's not being upset. It's just like being over it. Like I am over it. I think I'm not the only one who will agree with this. I am over it. I am over seeing the same material. We're having Evil Dead Rise tonight, and I just saw Evil Dead remake recently, which, by the way, super gory, super uncomfortable. It made me really skin to the bone.
Evil Dead is in a completely different situation though, because
however, it is still a what is it requel? You know, I mean, they even made Ash vs. Evil, which is the TV show based off Ash, who is the original character in the Evil Dead 1980, like 1987, I believe. I forget. What I am aiming for is more movies like Talk to Me. You know, granted, same lore, it's original, new directors we don't even know who based themselves off YouTube. A news like a lore that like was probably a short story. Same thing with Smile was last year. I want something that really challenges a little bit more of like the creative realm that is so happened to be lost within the Hollywood community. And I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's unfair for me to ask.
No, 100%. But it's just like, again, Hollywood's going to do it because they need something.
They will. And I'm 100% like, at the end of the day, I'm here making a podcast with my best friend, and I will voice my opinion because I can. Hollywood is going to do what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to make money, and I will be there covering it.
I genuinely think you would be more receptive had Harry Potter not been announced, because because if this was the first news, like, I think so.
No.
I think so.
No. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to let you assume something that I'm 100% sure about. I will let you know right now. Whether Harry Potter was first, whether Twilight was first, whether Divergent series was first. Hell, we're getting the Hunger Games back soon.
That's something we definitely don't need.
Oh, really? So why do we need Twilight?
I never said we needed Twilight. I'll happily watch it. I never said we needed it. There's a lot of stuff we don't need.
Exactly. So that
But
is
I'm gonna
the
still
point.
watch it.
At the end of the day, is that Hollywood is running out of ideas, and we need them to clear out whoever's gatekeeping new ideas, new stories, new POC. Like literally, we just need a complete Nuketown and straight up revolution of how our narratives are going to continue moving forward. Because I am personally, I'm not saying that I'm upset. I sound upset, but I'm just over it. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Why do we need that again? We already know how it ends.
It's a good question.
We already know how it ends. For people that know how, for people, and I don't mean to exclude you, Adam. For people that read books,
oh,
I'm sorry, and I apologize. For people that read books, right? When you reread a book, you already know, right? However, why do it again? Because there's only one way to reading that book, and it's the first time you do it. I mean, like, granted, like, I will be honest. I will watch the Harry Potter series and I will watch Twilight. But, like, okay, and then what? Like, I already know what's happening. Bella's gonna be a vampire. Harry's gonna get killed and also come back to life and then kill Voldemort. I'm that's where I'm at.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, and I get you, but I think if you have an opportunity to flesh out a story better than what the original films do, why not? Why not do it? That's just me personally, because I think we're at a.
I think that's you from like a viewer's perspective.
No, absolutely, because I do yes, I do like film and I do like television more than I like reading a book. Yeah, the reason I would like it fleshed out more because is the fact that I'm gonna be honest, my lazy ass isn't gonna go and read the book.
It's not about being lazy. You're right. There are people that watch movies and there are people that read books, and that's what it is. So what in Hollywood's going for is you, the intended audience, people that won't ever pick up the book, that will probably pick it up as a collectible and have it on their wall and won't ever read it. And then, here is our episode for the first chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you're upset, 100%. Obviously, again. Yeah. At the end of the day,
I hope I didn't sound upset. I feel like I speak for everybody that just like is over it. You know, like what is new?
Well, hang on,
what is going on? What's happening? You know, like for example, like we have Renfield. That was super fun.
Was it though?
It was super fun in the sense that you just show up and you watch a movie and it doesn't matter.
That's
Same
true.
thing with Mario, right?
100%.
Like, a movie that isn't afraid to be a movie, because that's how I felt about Renfield, and probably that's how I feel about Mario once I see it. Because you clearly said Mario is not my intended audience; it's a children's audience. Even if the kind of argument can be like, well, just because it's animation doesn't mean it's only for children. Blah 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 blah. Like Sausage Party is the super counter argument. Like, would you show Sausage Party to a 9-year-old?
Well, no, because it's rated R.
You wouldn't. 100%. Yeah, but at the end of the day, because it's animation, doesn't mean that it's that. You know, there's several arguments to an animation.
The Boondocks. Remember the Boondocks?
Or the Boondocks. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's an excellent choice.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was PG-13, even though it was rated G.
That is some borderline interesting stuff.
You know, and that was on Cartoon Network, and that was like after hours kind of.
But then even like you think of like you remember like the scene in SpongeBob with Dracula and how scary that was?
Oh my god, no, the one with the gorilla?
I don't remember that one.
The one with the gorilla, you know this one.
I don't. So
maybe you were that traumatized that it like blocked it out.
Here's the interesting thing about SpongeBob episodes. People will like reference SpongeBob episodes and I won't know them, but then I'll go and reference a SpongeBob episode and they won't know them. It's really, really weird.
It's a
really,
reversal, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, but I can
Yeah.
okay. I'll 100% agree with you. Hollywood is out of ideas, and I think we've mentioned this before. Obviously, though, I will play devil's advocate, and obviously,
Oh yeah,
you
and
know,
I appreciate that because
yeah,
that's how this works. Like I appreciate that, and in general, I didn't I for everybody that knows, most of the time I agree with Adam. But however, like I will if I strongly believe in something, I will argue it. And
so
that's something that I haven't really done completely throughout this podcast, but you will see in season 3. So
maybe,
preview to come events. How no, I'm just kidding. I'm making a joke. But what it is just that that's how I feel. That's generally how I feel because from our creative perspective from the both of us, we both argue like, okay, we're a podcast about movies that talks about movies and dissects episodes and television and everything. How can we be different? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that is how I see Hollywood as from a consumer's point of view.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, we're also consumers, but we're also artists, and we will see it differently. An
hmm
artist, whenever they display their art, they're their own self critics worst. But put an artist's work in a room full of other artists, and oh my god,
yeah. I'm gonna read over this.
it is a Reddit thread.
Yeah, I'm gonna read over this the article really just quick because we do need to wrap it up.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
But
sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
tangent. I'm so
honestly, this
sorry.
the rant is going to make for a really good post. So hey,
I'm so sorry.
no, no, not at all, not at
I'm
all,
sorry.
not at all. Hey,
I was just
hey,
like,
look, look, look,
that's
look.
just how I
I'm gonna be
felt.
honest. I went poking the bear because I knew you were upset with this. I purposely put this in because I knew you weren't gonna be okay with it. This was more from the entertainment of myself than it
So
was to
Adam is an
actually.
abuser. I'm kidding. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no. I'm an
I'm just
instigator.
kidding.
I'm an instigator. I'm 100% an
Adam's an
instigator.
instigator for
I
sure.
am,
He
for
loves
sure.
this stuff.
Yeah. I love drama. I
Don't
hate being in
worry,
it.
don't worry. I do the same, but the only way I can do it that actually pokes the bear is sports.
Yeah.
That's it. When
Let's
it
move
comes to
on. Let's move on.
entertainment, there's no way that I can. But when it comes to sports,
Anyways,
oh my god, he will shut me down.
that
Like Godzilla himself. Like call me King Kong right now because I'm losing that.
yeah. Okay, so obviously Twilight series in the works. This is an exclusive by the Hollywood Reporter. Lionsgate's television is in early development on a series that could potentially bring Stephanie Meyer's book series back to life after the widely successful films. I'm gonna skip to the main part of it. Sources say author Myers is expected to be involved in the adaptation. However, reps at Lionsgate Television declined to comment on that. So do
Wait,
with
what?
that
Why?
what you will. No idea, but that, in my opinion, is the most important thing
If
of
anything,
this.
that sounds like that should that should be more of like the standpoint that HBO should be taking with J.K. Rowling. But I won't continue because whatever. We're not into
Yeah,
politics. It's just what it is. But wow,
I think it's kind
interesting.
of hard because when you look at like Star Wars, they invite George Lucas on for consultation all the time on the set on like, hey, what are some pinpoints that you kind of saw? But I know that's more of Dave Filoni doing that.
First of
Uh,
all, screw him. And Dave Filoni and John Favreau, we trust. That's it. Sorry.
well, I mean, we
I'm
can't
just
disrespect
kidding.
George Lucas. You can't disrespect George Lucas.
We can. I'm so
No, you
sorry.
can't.
I'm sorry.
No, he gave us
No,
the
I said
original
we. I know.
trilogy.
I said we can't. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
no, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Um,
can't.
no, but yeah, in all seriousness, this is kind of weird. This is a weird situation because, like, in all honesty, like with the Harry Potter series, it's kind
You
of
know
hard
what
if
would
you
really
don't.
suck is that they all get a first season and they don't get picked up after.
I think it's hard not to because this is easy success because of the fact that it's gonna.
But think about streaming services though. That's a very common thing.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, no, I feel like that's common with Netflix.
The CW is one of them as well.
With what though? A lot of CW shows go on for years. what you call it?
The
Oh my
Flash
gosh.
is the exception. The
The Flash,
Supernatural is the
Arrow,
exception.
Supernatural, One Tree Hill, a lot of films.
Yeah, but those
Riverdale,
are OG though.
but even
In modern streaming, like it isn't. Charm got canceled.
so,
Heroes of Tomorrow got canceled. Uh, what is it? The Secret Circle got
are
canceled.
those all streaming shows?
These were all shows that were on the CW
Were they on television or streaming though?
television.
Okay, but I feel like that's like see, but think the way I think about it, it's like Supernatural, obviously ahead of its time. One Tree Hill, arguably ahead of its time. The Flash, Arrow, had one of the first interconnected universes on a television screen, which was awesome. So, but again, you have to remember the big names did really well, like the Flash and the Arrow. Supergirl didn't do all that well. Superman and Lois ended up doing decently well. Smallville. How could we forget Smallville?
Somebody save me, dude. That's such a good song. Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm gonna
No,
play this
yeah,
after the song.
100%. And
Holy
then,
crap!
but even like Riverdale, like how long everybody hated that show and that continued to go on.
Please
Um,
free the Riverdale cast. That's all
they're
I will say.
done. They're
Just
done after
cancel the
this season.
show
They're
or
done after
end the
this season.
show. Let them do something else, please. Let Dylan Sprouse,
Cole Sprouse.
Cole Sprouse, let Cole Sprouse do something else. Let him go back to Danimals. I don't know. Just
Did anybody
something
ever
that is
win
not
that?
Riverdale. Huh?
Did they ever announce the winners for the Danimal
They
Legend?
did. They did. They
Huh.
did. And the only reason why I know that actually happened was because of a Tumblr post, and I will try to find it and put the link on it if
That'd be
people are
interesting.
curious about it. Because
Post it anyways.
the person that won it like did a literally like a account of like how that went down. So
Yeah.
story for another night. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, to wrap up the thoughts, what are your thoughts on Lionsgate not the reps at Lionsgate declining to comment whether Myers is expected to be involved in the adaptation?
Um I mean, I feel like because it is her project from the beginning, there should be something, especially when it's a television adaptation, because at the end of the day, then what's going to happen, right? Um, I don't know if that was her decision in the long run, but I feel like they should include her because, sorry, there's something on my wall.
No, you're good.
Because it's the writer,
Yeah.
and the only reason why they're bringing it back is because of this writer, or maybe because they just want, I don't know. They need to make sure that the writer's on board with this as well.
Yeah.
That is my final thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty interesting that they refused to comment, but also too that they that it's not confirmed, like you said. I think it's just weird because it's a lot of gray area because like realistically, if they didn't want to include her, it wouldn't be like immediately over. Mainly because you have 4 books that you can pull material from, that are essentially her are all of her writing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Same thing if Harry Potter didn't want J.K. Rowling involved.
Right.
You have
Right.
you
Right.
have 7 books to flesh all that out. But no, yeah. Really quickly because we took a lot longer on this topic than I expected.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Renfield. We're moving on to Renfield now. We'll keep it short.
I feel like we should just talk about our early thoughts and not really dissect it. I feel like it's a movie that speaks for itself.
Yeah, check it out. It's not going to be for everybody. 100% not for everybody. It's not
My roommate and I, we both agreed, and shout out to Brian. We were like, we don't want to give it a 7 because that would make it a C. Choose the dog that's in the background. We want to give it like a D minus. However, it was still entertaining.
Yeah.
So like maybe like a C minus, but not for sure a C plus.
Yeah.
I'm only strictly grading like college way, like community college way, where it's like you get a C minus, like you're good, kind of. You get a C plus, you get a C, you're like good. You get a C plus, you're like okay.
This is
Uh,
how I kind of see it, and everybody get your mind out of the gutters. It's at like a 69%, where it's just like, do we give it a 70 or do we make it pay? You know?
I 100% agree because I'm so glad we agree on this because yeah, like so okay, granted Nicolas Cage as Count
Fantastic.
Dracula, phenomenal. Perfect casting. Perfect casting. He was so funny. He is so memorable. Also the prosthetic work on him, phenomenal.
Yeah, there
Like
were scenes where he looked brutal and it looked
holy
scary.
crap. He was frightening the very first couple scenes we see him, you know? I love the fact that they kind of like pay homage to the original Count Dracula, where like
Yeah, the
literally like
beginning, it
piece
was,
by piece we get
yeah,
like a four square, right?
it's
Of
how the film
how
opens.
like a film
Yeah,
and like a recounting of that and it's like even the same lighting and everything, it's black and white and everything, it's perfect,
it was nice
it's
to see.
nice.
It was nice to see.
It's like it's basically saying this is the same Dracula that you guys knew of,
That or,
and this is our iteration on it.
yeah.
Nicholas Hoult, fantastic. I hope he did most of his stunt work. If he didn't, I feel like he probably bounced off whatever he did with the X-Men.
I don't want to interrupt you, but it's like Nicholas Holt just continues to get better and better in every role because like when you think of like how good he was in The Menu, how great he was in the X-Men stuff, he did fantastic in Renfield. Um and me personally, I'm going to be honest, this is the only time I've never been annoyed with Aquafina. Like I thoroughly enjoy, like I have never been on the Aquafina hype train. I think I am now. I think
Aquafina was in Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah, okay, there you go too. I did I she I did enjoy her in that. But everything else she's done, like I don't find her funny.
Uh, yeah.
This I'm like, hang on. Maybe I misjudged this.
She has a
She's a
reason to
show.
be upset. She has a character that is fleshed out. She has a sister.
Yeah.
We get that. However, I still feel like her character didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. And I feel like
I'm sorry.
the
I feel like
relationship
her character
was,
didn't go anywhere. I feel like we saw more of that with Nicholas Holt.
yeah.
But um the way I saw this movie is uh act one and then like act three.
Okay. So
Does that make sense?
no body?
Like no middle part.
That's fair. I can see that cuz things just
And
kind of
granted, the movie
happened.
was an hour and 30 minutes long. Um, and so that's why I was like, what's happening? But like I was also kind of like, okay, it is what it is. But I mean, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Overall, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I just I mean like the only reason why I would recommend it is that if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, go watch it.
Well, but then like you look like think of like Ben Schwartz being in it and how much he carried a part of
Oh
this
my
film.
god. Okay,
I
so
didn't even
thank
know
you
he
for
was in
bringing
it.
him
I didn't
up.
even know he was in it.
Literally, yeah, same. Because every time I see John Ralphio,
Is
I
the
always think of
worst.
Entertainment 720.
Eat
Uh,
720.
720. I love that man.
Yeah.
He was so funny. He was so funny. And then, yeah, I mean, John Ralphio. Okay, so it's John Ralphio, Nicolas Cage. Um, Renfield. I'm not gonna lie to you. Renfield pissed me off. Renfield was annoying.
Renfield was kind of annoying.
Yeah,
He
he
had
was
good
like a
reason
simp,
to though.
for like no reason. But it's
Yeah.
it's also like understandable.
Yeah.
Overall, we are dissecting the characters as a story. It felt kind of rushed. It felt kind of like beginning to end, no
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
Not saying it wasn't entertaining. The movie in itself is entertaining,
Oh, 100%.
and that's all I will say about that. If you want to, if you want to finalize any of your thoughts on it.
I feel bad because like when you have a star talent like Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Holt, Aquafina, Ben Schwartz, and Ben Schwartz. It's just like this doesn't feel like a film that should not work, but there were parts of it that like didn't. There were scenes in it that just dragged on. Like the highs were high, but the lows felt really low too, where it was just like there wasn't much going. Not that there wasn't much going on, but that's how it felt. Felt like there wasn't much going on. I think you kind of said it wasn't afraid to be a movie, which I can agree with.
All I wanted, honestly, all I was thinking was when there was aerial views of the city, I was like, "Oh my God, Adam and I were there. Oh my God, we were right there."
Oh, that's where we fought.
No,
I'm just
God,
kidding.
it doesn't.
Why'd you bring that
Okay,
up?
Dracula. Okay, Dracula.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. This is where you had
I'm more.
WrestleMania and I explored New Orleans. That's how
Yeah,
I want to see it.
that's
That's
how
how
you.
we should see it.
Let's
That's how we
just
should see
ignore
it.
that. Let's
That's how
just
we should see it.
completely.
I'm just like speaking to you, Dracula wise, like in the eyes, and just thinking, like, yes, Renfield. That's how we see it.
We're just gonna completely disregard that we didn't talk for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's fine.
gosh.
That's cool with me.
No. Yeah. But overall, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Eyes were kind of getting heavy in this film. I hate to say that. To say that my eyes were getting heavy in a film because it's like
I won't let you feel alone. I worked the morning and I brought my roommate with me,
I.
and I was like probably like an hour, maybe 45 minutes in, and this was me. This was
Uh, eyes were heavy. Mom's
and then my
spaghetti.
roommate like came up to me and was like saying something. He was like, "Hey, isn't that?" And I was like, yeah, 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 for sure."
Yeah.
I
Here's the
hated
thing,
I
though.
hated that.
Here's the thing.
I was exhausted because of like work,
Hang on.
but also too like if it's a movie that I'm really excited about, I will stay up.
And Brian is high on life. Okay. Okay. I would say this with the utmost respect, but Brian is a natural crackhead.
That's really funny, but also too, this was Brian throughout the entire movie, and it's funny because we were resembling each other. He was like this, right? Like mirror view. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, and then he went like this, and then he went like,
Hmm.
and then he went like this. And like, what scares me is that whenever I try to read someone's behavior during a movie, I'm like, are they enjoying it as much as I am?
But I think
Like that's my question. Like I get so like for example, like with you too, because you're super non-reactional, and then once we finish the movie, you're like, "Oh my God, that was like you like dissect it," and I'm like, "That's how you felt the entire movie." I'm like, "This guy does not like this movie."
I
I'm
have
like,
a.
in my head, I'm like, ah.
I
I'm like,
think.
"Oh my God," like, hey, it's one of those things where I'm like I'm more emotionally based when it comes to
Yeah.
my reactions
I'm stone
physically.
cold. I feel like, but I think when I'm upset. Like I feel like when I'm upset, I'll wear the arms on my sleeve. But like if you wouldn't. I feel like you wouldn't know
He'll put his phone out and go on Twitter.
what when I'm
And
upset.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. When you're like not feeling a movie, you're like go on Twitter and you're like scrolling.
yeah.
Like,
How do I get my?
damn.
Gotta redirect the attention elsewhere. No, yeah,
With
but
with like the vibrancy down. He's not like disturbing anybody.
oh yeah, I always have it. I always have it in lowest of things. But I really do that in films. I really do that in films. I'll do that when I'm watching TV for sure.
Yeah.
To finish up, if it got a sequel, I wouldn't be upset. I'd see it. That's how where I'm at. I said the same. You know what this? You know what this kind of reminds me of? How I feel about this film is how I feel about the first Venom, where it was just like, it was all right. I wouldn't be mad if it got a sequel. I'd see it,
Yeah.
but I'm also like, I understand if it doesn't, and I'm okay if it doesn't. But I wouldn't mind seeing this cast together again to make a really good film because I think a film like Red Film had a lot of potential.
No, I definitely agree.
You ready to move on to Mando Talk?
Oh, 100%.
You said you had questions for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's just kind of like
Really? Sorry. Before we do anything, spoilers.
we are talking spoilers.
It's the day after the episode comes out. Heavy spoilers from here on out.
You've been warned.
Yeah, you've
If you
been warned.
haven't, go check it out and come back
Yeah.
at this hour and 5 minute mark and talk about it. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Um, well, not questions, but just like, what? No way. Like, okay. Standout for me, Grogu.
Yeah.
My standout of the episode was Grogu. Not only that, Din Djarin,
Mm-hmm.
and R5.
R5 is the MVP.
R5 was the
We
the
don't
one,
win.
the
We do
one,
not
the only
win
one, dude.
without
The
R5.
one, and there's R5 released the force field. R5, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
First of all, he fought for his life. He fought for his life. This episode was one of the best I've seen on television ever. This is my first initial reaction in terms of Star Wars. Granted, I've yet to finish Andor, and I will soon because I know season 2 is on the way. But when it comes to Star Wars television, and that is speaking towards including Rebels for myself, I know probably Adam has seen better in Clone Wars. I've also seen The Bad Batch.
Did you see
This
season
was
2 of The Bad
amazing.
Batch?
Not yet.
Neither have I.
But not, I mean, like, amazing. Yeah. However, I will say that the one of the best episodes I've ever seen of Star Wars related that was animated was the episode where Sabine is talking about Mandalore.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to Mandalore because this is my first thought when this episode ended. If I were ever in the Star Wars universe, I would like to be a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I would like to be a foundling. Whatever way it is, I would want to walk the way. I would want to be part of the covert. I would want to be part of the creed because they are the most honorable and like by the book. And I love that. I love the order. I love the honor. Like the fact that honor is the most important thing in their lives is amazing. And I have huge amounts of respect for Bo-Katan Kryze because she did surrender. She had a redemption and she fought like hell.
Yeah.
And that is a leader. She's flawed. She doesn't know how to lead, and that's okay. But she figures it out on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And she figures it out by the Mandalore way, which is the Mandalore is stronger when they're together than they are apart. Mm-hmm. And that is what we saw in this episode. And that is why I'm so thankful to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau for bringing us that season 3 was about the Mandalorian culture. Because the Mandalorian was about, the first season was about Din Djarin and his connection with Grogu, right? Prior to even us knowing his name. Season 2,
building that bond between the two.
Exactly. Season 2 was about, expanding on that bond.
Yeah.
And just growing from there. And then season 3 was the fact that it's not only about Din Djarin, even though he is the central focus, but is about the culture and the way of the Mandalorian. Yeah. Not just because of the Black Saber, not because of the Moff Gideon and his clone army, or his supposedly dead clone army. Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, okay, I don't want to like get into that just yet, but I find it hard to believe that those are his only clones of himself. I find that just hard to believe.
Based on verbal evidence, him saying you destroyed them without even giving them a chance to breathe probably said enough for me.
Yeah.
However, there could be a way to bring him back.
This is me personally.
Because we both agreed on this. Unless there's a decapitated head, then they're dead.
That's true. You need to see a body.
If there isn't, it's up to speculation.
That's why I'm like on the fence with like, is he even dead? Because he's in Beskar.
But and we were teasing the entire season. Personally, I talked to Adam about this. We were teasing the entire season that all roads lead to Thrawn. And we were thinking that this season would lead into Ahsoka. And yet, it had more of a calmer resolution than we agreed on or we thought upon.
Yeah, what it would be.
Not saying, and as Adam will counter, he said, not saying that it wouldn't lead to Thrawn,
Yeah.
because we did get samples of it. So we are aware that Thrawn is out there. There is a lingering force, right? There is that. There are the whispers. But in terms of the Mandalorian story, this is where Din and Grogu are at. And wow, what a conclusion to a season.
I agree, and I think like for anybody who says this season was underwhelming in any way, I can understand 100% why you think that, but and I think I mentioned this on the podcast before. How do you top Luke Skywalker coming to take Grogu? How do you
Not even
top
that.
that? Like no, but
I
like
want
that's
you as a listener, if you have those thoughts, go back to season one and just binge watch it until now. Because I want you to know that is a continued story. The fact that it's chapter 24, not chapter 8 or 9, right? Of the concluding season.
mhm.
It's not, it's not like volume one, chapter one. It's not that. It is the story of Mandalore. What you're experiencing right now is the song of Mandalore.
Yeah.
You need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are diehard Star Wars fans who probably like know more than I do, which go ahead, 100%. I'll fact me. I welcome it.
Yeah.
But you need to understand that this is the story that is happening right now.
Yeah. No, 100%. But it's just like, again, like, I guess what I'm saying is like how do you top something as good as Luke Skywalker? Because again, that is everything new Star Wars fans have wanted is Luke Skywalker, more of Luke, because all we have is that original. I say all we have is that original trilogy. Like if it's like not 3 films that are totally about him, but we want to see what Luke did after Return of the Jedi, which I think is 100% fair. That's 100% fair to want to feel that, but how do you, when you get somewhat of an insight of what he is doing, how do you top that in a sense? Like, yeah, of course, according to everybody else who can read deeper than just what the surface is, like us, we can enjoy a story if it doesn't have all the explosions and all the cherries on the top. We can appreciate that this is where, essentially Grogu and Din's story is what feels like wrapped up. We can enjoy that even though Luke Skywalker isn't a part of it. We can enjoy that because that's because we can see television and film at a deeper level than on what most people, I feel, what most people can, mainly because it's just like the stories.
I think this also opens the conversation of the fact that the Force does not only rely on the Skywalker family or the
Yeah.
saga of the Skywalkers. Like it's not just solely on that space drama about them. The Force, as one of the best Star Wars has ever hit the big screen, said, "I am with the Force is with me. I am with the Force, and the Force is with me." Grogu is one with the Force, and the Force is with him, and I like to see it that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not because you're a Skywalker, and I hope in the future Rey gets her redemption. Not bring her up like to sore subject. But the Force is not just a family. It is all around us.
There's a misconception on Anakin, the Skywalker's story being centered around them. Yes, the story that George Lucas told us is essentially revolved around the Skywalker storyline and bloodline. However, there have been many events where that pre-existed prior to the Skywalker family. Do not get me wrong. The Skywalker family is the best thing about Star Wars. We do not have any of the Mandalorian, the Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Rebels, Ahsoka, Andor. We don't have any of that without the Skywalker, without the original films. However, we are at a point, where it's just like, there's other things out there that we can explore. I'm the biggest, I want to see the Night of 1,000 Tears. I think that would be so important to see when you can have a cameo with Darth Vader and even Thrawn in that, where they are going and attacking, where it's Vader, Thrawn, and even, hey, Moff Gideon, where they're going and attacking Mandalore. They're there, doing initiating the bombings and all that. That would be cool to see. They don't need to play the important roles, but it's just like I think that we're at a point where it's just like I can see why people want a little bit of inclusion of wanting, okay, Vader shows up in a project here and there. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Vader showed up in Andor, or if there, if it was one little scene where he's in just to be like, even when you think of like even like Jedi Fallen Order, I did not expect to have Vader at the end of that game. Did not. The fact that it was so, that nobody when I finally got to play it and how surprised I was, like that was super awesome. It was that small little detail, but it fleshed out a story of Cal Kestis and allowed me to really love that character. And then when Vader showed up, it was like, oh crap, yeah, he's still there. Like realistically, there probably isn't a happy ending for this character because of where he takes place.
Yeah.
But
that guy.
Yeah. But to move it back to the Mandalorian episode, the episode's fantastic. There's so much action right at the beginning. The only little thing is that we never see Grogu leave the pack to go find Din. He kind of just shows up there where Din Djarin is. But again, it's one of the most heartwarming scenes when you watch it, because he comes to save him.
I feel like he knows. Again, he's very force sensitive. He probably just felt him. He probably just meditated
absolutely.
for a couple minutes while other people were like trying to figure out a way to get through a wall or whatever. And then he was like, "Enough of this. Like I know better." And he walks off. And he's just like, no, 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 no. Yeah, like that was fantastic. I honestly I teared up during this finale.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't tear up. I cried like a baby when I saw Luke. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I saw it. I think I saw it more of like it's not the family that you're born into, it's the family you choose. And Din did that for Grogu.
Yeah.
And Grogu accepted that from him.
Yeah. For sure. I think the biggest thing. Oh, another MVP of this episode, Axe Wolves.
Yeah, he just came in like an asteroid.
Yeah, clutch.
That was also not for miscontinuity, but we did mention a theory last episode about the Omer being involved with Moff Gideon. That proved to be fake.
As of now.
Proved to be theory completely. However, a very interesting theory. And also, sorry for doubting you. Because they really had us for a couple. I mean, like it was a theory that we couldn't overlook. I feel like in itself, we were like, oh my God, yeah. That is, yeah, like that could be a possibility, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I think in the sense of like with the spies, I don't think we'll ever truly know who the spies are. Maybe they'll revisit it that. In terms of yesterday's episode, the return, I don't think it was more of like the return of a character. It felt more of the return of Mandalore in a sense, like the return of the house, like because like when like you think of like Star Wars and like you compare it to like Harry Potter and stuff, the Jedis are a house, the Mandalores are a house, the bounty hunters are a house, like so on and so forth, so that's how like this feels like it's the return of like the return is essentially the return of the Mandalorians on the surface world. They are back playing a part in the society because like Bo-Katan said, how you said, when we are together, we are unstoppable. Mandalore has never been taken over. We've only ever really been beaten by ourselves, or screwed over in like with Moff Gideon, However, the biggest question mark to me is the destroying of the Darksaber.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, ow, because damn, Moff Gideon is strong. He basically crushes the Darksaber.
His suit was essentially an Iron Man suit.
Bo-Katan like literally, crushes her arm.
Yeah.
So her arm is completely messed up. Like her whole hand is messed up.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I didn't like. But when I mentioned it to somebody else that was like watching the show, they're like, "Well, they can just rebuild it." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't really work that way, though. Like,
Well,
what happens to the crystal?"
the crystal you can mend, but again, you need a force user to mend. So
Exactly, and that's like who else besides Grogu? And my theory was the fact, well, not my theory, but like the fact that Grogu towards the end of the episode was baptized, right?
we'll get it. Yeah, we'll get it.
As a Mandalorian.
We'll get
Yeah,
into
no, but
that.
like
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to get to. Stop doing that. You do that all the time. What I'm saying is what I'm like he goes to the water
Hmm.
and he's like he views it, and then there's like the myth of swords, right?
Yeah.
Towards like an agreement. Does that basically kind of guarantee that Grogu is the heir to Mandalore?
So that's like the ongoing theory. Um, so essentially, like because like to kind of and I'll answer that. But in terms of like the dark saber, that feels the reason they did, Disney. I feel like Disney did that on purpose because the dark saber one will return with a different hilt. Uh, so to sell money. In all honesty, like that's such a Disney move. Moff getting and
Ah,
his strength explained another thing too is that one he had hydraulics in the suit. He essentially had an Iron Man suit. Um, that was that's really how it felt. He had armor. He had strength through his armor. That's what. So I sent a TikTok actually to Danny of basically when you cast a shadow on upright of the Mandalore skull, it is it is a shadow of Grogu's ears and his head. I don't know how true that is, but in the video, that's what his showed. Because obviously I don't have a Mandalore skull. That'd be cool to get one actually. But if you were to like shine a light and you had a surface to basically cast it on, it would basically essentially create Grogu's face. Because obviously
wow.
the biggest thing is that they keep teasing that it's Din Djarin because Din Djarin has been the only person who has spoken that people have actually listened to. Especially well in this season, I should say, with the Mandalorian. Those are the only ones. Like nobody's really bought into the Bo-Katan propaganda when it comes to the Mandalorian. Um, I think the dark saber, the destruction of the dark saber, is really good for a development standpoint for Bo-Katan because Bo-Katan's arc has always been, I need the dark saber to rule Mandalore. That has been her arc for so long, and I do enjoy that we're finally getting rid of that storyline. That we're shedding that skin. And if Bo-Katan is to be the leader until Grogu is the leader of the Mandalores, if that's the direction they're heading in, then Bo-Katan is essentially going to need to learn how to lead without that until it returns, if it does return. Um,
Wow.
because when you say, oh, who's gonna mend a saber, like you can't just put the saber back together. Yes, you can, because they did that in the Rise of Skywalker. They destroyed Anakin's saber just to rebuild it in the next one. When Rey put on the completely rebuilt it, and you know
It's just I guess from like a narrative point of view, when you hype something up to be this like strong field, right? And then you just see it being kind of like diminished, you're like, oh, really? It's like, for example, like in the movie for Harry Potter, and I'm sorry to bring it up again, when in part 2 of the Deathly Hallows, when Harry just literally snaps the Elder Wand, and in the book that doesn't happen. He snaps the Elder Wand, you're like, really? All that for that?
yeah.
It just that's what that kind of gave. Different scenarios, granted, and obviously different lore completely. Uh, but that's how I saw it, and I was like, ah, oh, crap. Like I wanted to see more of the dark saber.
Yeah. Well, you want more of the
I love seeing sabers in Star Wars. Screw me, like damn,
yeah.
it's Star Wars.
You want
Pew,
if
pew,
you
pew,
want
pew, pew,
more
pew.
if you want more dark saber, watch some Clone Wars. There's a lot of dark saber in there. Yeah,
I know what you're doing.
no,
I know
no,
what you're.
they go into a lot of
I know
depth
what
on the
you're doing.
Mandalorian. You see,
No, no, no. Granted, I told you. I mean, like with that episode, one of the episodes that really stuck with me the most and actually made me very emotional was the episode of Sabine. It was centered around Sabine and the Darksaber and the fall of Mandalore and the Night of the Thousand Tears, and it was one of the most epic episodes. I think it was like season 3 or season 4, season 3 probably.
hmm
Um, and it blew me away.
they do really in Clone Wars. They do really, yeah. I remember the episode though that you're talking about with Sabine when because she's training with Kanan in those episodes, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
she is.
because
She
she some
is.
how does she obtain the dark saber?
I'm trying to remember
Like I
myself.
oh my
Let me.
gosh!
You know what? Hang on. We're asking Google.
But
How does
in
Sabine obtain the Dark Saber?
in Clone Wars, you see the siege of Mandalore, which is when Maul takes over Mandalore, and they go
Hang
through
on.
that.
It wasn't until later, during the events of the Galactic Civil War, that members of the Ghost Crew, Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren, discovered the Dark Saber in the Night Sister's lair. The blade then fell to Sabine, who became the new owner simply by picking it up. There
Yeah,
was no duel for the possession or ownership.
yeah, that's right. The Night Sisters had it. Somebody on TikTok broke it down by the technicality of who the saber actually belongs to, and
Oh, who's that?
it belongs to Vader by technicality. So you can only call the dark saber yours is if you either defeat the person who was wielding it in combat and they defeat who or if you save the person who previously owned it in combat. That's why Din was able to relinquish it to Bo-Katan.
Okay,
But
okay.
so in Clone Wars, um, Maul has the dark saber and Sidious defeats him. So Sidious becomes the rightful owner because nobody defeats Sidious until Return of the Jedi, when Vader kills Sidious, making Vader the rightful owner. But technically, it would be Luke because Luke essentially killed Vader. So it's up in the air. Vader is kind of the rightful owner of the dark saber. I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
I mean,
great.
yeah, somebody broke that down.
Who killed Luke Skywalker?
Himself. So technically, he is still the rightful owner.
Damn, he really said. He said double jeopardy.
Yeah,
He said you can't.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Why so selfish?
um.
I think that will wrap it up, right?
Well, I mean, closing thoughts. Because you like your biggest thing. Well, what you brought up, is that we didn't get Thrawn. We didn't get it leading into Ahsoka. This wrapped up the story of what feels like Din Djarin and Din Grogu now. So yes, Grogu's name is now Grogu because Grogu is now an apprentice of Din Djarin. He is now in clan or House Din, and he is now Din Grogu. So Grogu's first name is Din now as well. And I think that's cool because it really you're now allowing Grogu to walk both ways of life. He's still going to continue the Force, which is why the theory continues to arise that he is the heir to Mandalore. Because of the fact he is a Force wielder, like the first ever Mandalorian Jedi. I forget, it's a Vizsla though.
I
Vizsla
like
is
this. I'd like to see it, please. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. I'd like to see. I'd like to see him become
yeah,
completely the heir to Mandalore.
yeah.
I'd like to see that in the future.
Which I don't mean to interrupt, but which would be interesting because if that's the route they go, the rumor for Dave Filoni's film is going to be based off of the book Heir of the Empire, which is Thrawn, or Heir to the Empire, I think it's what it's called. So imagine if it's the heir of Mandalore versus the heir to the Empire, and that's our final epic conclusion in this connected story.
Sold. I'm there.
Me too.
I like to see it. Please.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my God. That'd be the best. That'd be the best.
So final thoughts to wrap up season 3 of. Final thoughts on to wrap up 1 of season 2 of Our Real Addiction, and to wrap up season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay. You want to go first?
I'll go. That's fine. After watching it, it's just like I trust in John and Dave. Like it's hard not to. Like you have this send off of your character, or you wrap up this season on such a nice story. You've given us more or less everything we've asked for, and you're gonna conclude all these storylines in an epic finale. Like Dave, there's nobody employed at Disney that knows Star Wars better than Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. How much he's learning, it's hard not to trust in them. That's really my final thoughts. And Dave Filoni and Dave Favreau that I trust. Excuse me, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I trust in what they're building. It's simple as that.
I love that. What are your thoughts on season 2?
Oh, season 2 was cool. Was that?
For Star Wars season 3, in the beginning, it did take a while for me to like get on board. Maybe like by the third episode, and then it just took me in. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of how much I love that show, and the reason why we started this podcast in general. I think season 3, as much as season 2 was about going back to the beginning and fleshing out a new representation to what the name stands, which for season 3 was the Mandalorian and the Mandalore way, the creed, and how the Mandalorians together are stronger. And how for season 2, for us, Adam and I are stronger, the two of us. As much as we love our collaboration completely, season 3 is just going to be what our heart and soul. And I feel like that's how season 3 was for The Mandalorian.
It really embodied the name.
Mm-hmm. And embodied the name, and that's how season 3 will be.
Yeah.
So thank you for continuing to listen to us, even through our hour-and-a-half episodes, through our Instagram posts, through everything.
Through all
we are very grateful. We are very grateful. Yeah. So that's all I would say about both things.
Yep. I think that's going to do it. You want to sign us out?
Send us off, Adam.
You want to do it?
Into Abyss.
Into the Abyss. All right.
Let's go into Hyperthread.
All right, everybody. As always, thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ourrealaddiction. Because this is where we're going to be posting video versions of the podcast. That's where you're going to be able to see Movie News Monday, TV Inquiry, any other stuff we decide to do at some point. We are going to do intros, and we are going to do fun little skits that we do wanna do. I have a couple ideas. Miguel's coming up in a couple weeks. Hopefully we'll be able to film one of them when he does come up, and or maybe film a couple. And again, just continue to show us, just continue to interact with us. Send us your thoughts. Send us your, hey, can you review this? Can you talk about this? Give us ideas, or not give us ideas. Give us topics. Let us know what you want to hear from this podcast. Again, with us being on the dawn of season 3 of this podcast, there are going to be some slight changes. Mainly that the podcast is going to be focusing. You're going to see less and less reviews on here, and those are going to be more actual videos. They're going to be their own separate thing on the actual YouTube channel. And they will be offered in audio as well. Those will be special episodes on audio and special YouTube videos on the YouTube channel. This is going to be more of our thoughts. Every now and then we will probably talk about go into depth on maybe a movie, on maybe a TV show here and there, but there's a lot of stuff that we want to continue to do with the podcast, and overall the brand of Our Real Addiction, I guess, is what you can say. But again, this was the season finale of season 2, as well as episode 111 of Our Real Addiction. We'll see you in season 3, or possibly in an unseasoned episode next week. We'll see what we do. But as always, I was Adam.
And I'm Miguel.
This was Our Real Addiction. Sick, Parvis, Magna.